Okay, I'm in Milton, Florida, which is just in from Pensacola, and Hurricane Ivan came through here and tore things up pretty bad. It looks like a tornado may have spun off from the hurricane and come through here. We did this home about 10 years ago. I believe it was in 1996, and of course we use our I-beam columns and rafters and red iron for our home, and then evidently they built a garage out of light gauge studs, which is a different way of doing steel framed homes, and they just used the light gauge metal studs, and it came up and basically just blew down. This is where their garage used to be. There's where they had it attached to the main house, and it just tore the light gauge steel framing system. It just completely just destroyed it, and but our house did fine.
Hurricane Ivan came in September 15th. Yeah, the night of September 15th, Wednesday night. And the eye hit Thursday morning at 2 a.m.
Thursday at 2 a.m.?
Thursday at 2 a.m.
Okay.
That's when it hit land.
Yeah.
And that's when about 3 o'clock in the morning you could hear the garage door snap.
Yeah.
And cave in, and within about a half hour, that's when the garage went.
And they just picked up the whole thing?
Picked up the whole garage, and here it lies.
Yeah. Because, see, the home is one that it's framed up using our red iron system, and then he'd framed up the garage using the kind of a light gauge.
Light gauge metal, steel, yeah. The house did really well. The only thing that happened on the house, of course, were the soffits. And the end gable where it kind of went flying into the lake.
And it sucked your insulation out of the attic.
Yes, it looked like Christmas. It was snowing everywhere.
All right.
Let's see, what were the winds at? 135 mile an hour sustained winds.
Right here?
Yes.
Wow. And
the house is at, what, 110? I believe, 110. So it went above and beyond its duty.
Wow.
So that's kind of cool. And plus there was a ton of tornadoes. I lost count after 10. Sitting in the hallway next to the garage, listening to it rip and listening to the house shimmy and shake a little bit, but not too terribly bad. I'm glad I was in this house and not another house, though.
Oh, right. Good.
Because of the steel framing.
We're not very far away from your house, are we?
No. We only separated by a golf course. That's why I come around this way.
Oh, so you're one golf course away, basically, from your house right here.
Johnny Breeze golf course right here.
Okay, now this has been 7 weeks since it came through, and they've rebuilt a whole lot of stuff, and it still is this bad? Wow.
Yes.
This is awful.
You can see the wheels of progress move very slowly.
Yeah, but goodness gracious.
All of these houses along here have been built since Andrew came through southern Florida in, what was it, 92, 3? And so they should have been built to a much more stringent code.
Right.
But you can see what happened to them. Their roofs, they're built from wood, and their roofs were not tied down securely, and so that's what you see as a result.
Okay.
But you have to realize hurricanes spawn a lot of tornadoes, and the tornadoes are devastating. Okay,
Man, look at that.
Totally inhabitable.
They're just going to have to tear it down, aren't they?
Oh yes. Yeah. And so he, what they're officially calling him was 145 miles per hour.
Right.
But they are claiming that he was probably more like a Category 5 than a 4, and probably his sustained winds were more than 150 miles per hour.
Goodness.
Now you have to realize that not just Charlie. Charlie was the most devastating hurricane for this area. But you had Francis, you had Ivan, and you had Jean, all hit this area. I mean, it's
There's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right. Well, I show you areas. We have all these pine trees. they just
They
snap like
just like a
matchboxes.
matchstick.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awesome, really. You know, but
So most of the houses in this area then sustained damage, but yours didn't sustain damage.
no, nothing happening to this structure. And actually, when like I told you, I talked to when we got our permit, demolition permit for our son, the inspector. What he said nothing shifted. He said nothing at all. I mean, you can look in every corner, nothing cracked in this house.
Good.
And that because we have all those braces in there.
Did he? Was the inspector pretty pleased with it then?
Yes, very. And we were joking. I told him I have 2 outside pole lights. As you can see, they were damaged. And my doorbell. So I said, all your emphasis should be put on a better doorbell.
So basically, just tell me what happened. Y'all were here. What day was it?
It was Sunday evening, and really we were watching because we have a daughter lives in Grove, and there was a storm up toward Grove, and we were watching for that. It's a possible tornado and all that. And then about the time that got by, I said, well, everything's okay. They said, well, there's one starting up down by Locust Grove. So we kept watching that, and they said, it's going toward Leach. And he said, if you live in Twin Oaks, you need to take cover. And
that's all
you
time
know,
we have, right?
you always think it's not going to be us, right?
Right.
So I kept going out and looking. You know, there was a lot of lightning. I went outside and looked. There was lightning, and then that thing had said, if you're in Twin Oaks, you need to take cover right now. And I looked out the window and I could see it. I could see the wall. I could see the north side of the tornado. It was
the wall of the tornado.
yeah, the north side of it. It was wide enough that with that flash of lightning, I couldn't see the south side, but I could see the north side. And
How wide did you say it was?
it was, we measured over here, it was like 0.8 of a mile wide over there. But we put the stool in there, just went and sat down, and I looked at the clock, and it was like 9:25, 27, something like that. And then the power went off. And then you could hear the noise, and it's loud. The cliche is like a freight train, but that's a lot what it sounds like. And we sat there, and you could hear things. You could hear the tin from those chicken houses beating in the trees, and I could hear things bouncing off the house. But it must have lasted not much more than a minute and a half, something like that. So by the time I couldn't hear it blew by, and I wanted to go outside and look and see what had happened to the house. But I went outside and looked, and the roof was all intact. And then I said, well, I looked around the house and I saw that the soffit had been blown down, but the house was intact. There wasn't no roof missing or anything. I said, well, we're all right. We just wait a morning and see what happens, you know.
Uh-huh.
You know, it blew those big lines across right there where you come across the turnpike. It blew those down. They had the turnpike blocked over there for several hours.
Uh-huh.
And there's another big line over here, blew 2 of those steel poles for the high tension line down. It was, they say F2, F3, 158 miles an hour. I wouldn't be surprised. I think it was close. We're just, you know, we bought the house. That's one of the considerations in buying the house. Yeah, when we looked at it, because this is not exactly Tornado Alley, but it's close to it, right?
Up here.
And that was one of our considerations was buying the house was have something that would stand up to a windstorm. And we're very well satisfied. I can't complain at all.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
tell me about just the general damage in the area.
There,
76 homes?
it was, somewhere 60 or 70 houses were damaged or destroyed. Up here at Twin Oaks, it flipped, I think, 3 house trailers up there, blew the roof off the post office, blew the front out of the convenience store up there, had glass windows on it, blew all that out. And about a mile or 2 down the road, there were spots down there where conventional stick-built houses on slabs where only the slab was left. They took them away completely. This area where the chicken houses were, there were 8 new chicken houses they just finished before the first of the year this year. I don't know, maybe 500,000 chickens over there or something like that. And a new brick veneer house that they put there for the guys going to watch the farm. Well, it destroyed all the chicken houses. It blew that house away, just left enough central structure inside in the closet that the family wouldn't hurt. They were inside.
They were in that
but
closet.
The house was completely gone.
And the little closet was just sitting.
Yeah. One thing, we're so far out in the country, it's not a heavily populated area. So there's a lot of damage to trees and fences and power lines. But if it had been a more built up area, it could have been a real bad situation.
Yeah, I mean, they're just thousands. It looks like thousands of trees are down around here.
It's just, you know, some people said we were lucky. I don't think we were lucky. I think that we made a good choice in the house is what it was.
Right.
We weren't lucky. I don't think luck had anything to do with it. You know?
I think it's a house too. Everybody's saying that lives in the area.
But it was fun, but it's something we wouldn't want to do again. It was, I don't know if they put a price on it, but it's been a pretty expensive situation for people. There was a house down here that it blew the roof off of the house down here. The guy up here, it blew the roof. You see that stuff laying in the field when you came in? That came off that house on the corner there, that rock house. Had the tarp over the top of it.
Right.
The guy on down there, it blew some the shingles off the west side of his house. This guy had some damage on the top of his, the shingles.
And the house, you're saying basically you had a bunch of the noise,
right?
But that the house didn't shake while you were in here. Because if the house would have shook, then you would have had structural damage, sheetrock cracks and everything like that.
No, it didn't. There was no movement as far as the
house
walls
moving
or anything.
at all.
Again, this is really pretty what y'all have done. I like this color.
I could hear stuff hitting the house, but it lasted, I don't think it lasted a minute or two. Very at the most, not more than that. And we went and measured over here on this road, and that storm was like 8 or 9/10 of a mile wide. For the debris was 8 or 9/10 of a mile wide.
That's pretty big.
Pretty good size.